Hey, I'm Johnny Boots, and I want to talk to you a little bit about comedy and YouTube and living in Hollywood and working for actors and producers and all types of shit. I was working aside with a brother of mine named Matt Troyce, and he basically never told me, like a lot of the producers do in Hollywood, that you know they're they kind of do some tricky stuff, meaning like basically, you know, they're gonna claim you as an employee without your knowledge. If you do a job for these type of people, that's what you should expect working in Hollywood and also in the music industry and in YouTube. I actually started YouTube way before a brother of mine named Matt, long ago when it first came out in 2007, 2008. I was in music videos at Kingsburg Community College. A kid wanted me to do a video with him, and we went down by the beach and we did like a dance video. And I don't think it's online anymore. Nobody could see it. When YouTube first came about, was editing. Editing was really serious, and still is to this day. The more you trim off the fat, the better it gets for a video. And I went into acting because I just didn't want to do math. Just like Ray Liotta, I was getting out of wrestling practice, and I was a wrestler, a high school wrestler, and football player. And I said, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? I either want to be a wrestler or I want to be an actor. Those were the two. And I said, if I'm a wrestler, remember thinking about this. If I'm a wrestler, I'm going to get hurt. I'm going to get hurt a lot, and because I was already getting a little injured when I was doing it, and I'm still paying for that now, recovering from injury as I'm talking to you from 20 years ago. Or I could be an actor. If I'm an actor, it's a lot more play involved. A lot more. I hope there's going to be a lot more play involved, and a lot less injuries, and a lot more recovery time. And that's what I chose. I chose to be an actor. I was in elementary school, and a lot of people like to laugh at me, and I could make people laugh. I had that talent, and I could entertain people. I could see the light in their eyes. And I said, "Wow, I have something here." There was a lot of scams involved. A lot of scamming involved. People saying, give me your credit card information. I'll charge you $780 for headshots. And you don't have a lot of money starting out as an actor at all. You don't have no money, and you're just trying to, go to auditions and get by and live off of your parents, when you're a teenager, and they're encouraging you and to the best that they can, but they want you to be happy too. But it's not about their happiness; it's about your happiness, because it's your life. So you go from theater to theater. I mean, I remember my first theater I went to. I had a small job working. As I work at Saks now. I worked at Saks back then. I can't believe it. And I think I was working at Saks. Yeah, I was working at Saks. I was young. I was, Matt brought me into Saks, and I guess he feels like I owe him something. I don't know, but the lady stopped me. She says, "Would you like to be in a play?" And I said, I really didn't want to do it. She says, "Yeah, but this would be like right along the curriculum of what you're doing. Like, you want to be an actor, right?" I said, "Yeah, I do." "Why don't you sign up? Why don't you come to this theater located at 177 McDougal Street and West 4th Street? Come on down." So I went down, and I auditioned. There was a whole bunch of actors, and I auditioned. I walked in. It was a wooden. Everything was creaking. It was old wood. I went in. It was a group of people, a panel, at their desk, and they says, "What's your name?" I told them my name. My name's Jonathan Troyce. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. And what are you gonna do for us today? But like a monologue. I did a little monologue, and then they had me read something. They gave me the script. And I was doing the script, and it was going great. And they says, "Okay, we really like this guy. We're gonna use him." But I didn't know what they're gonna do. They used me for every show. Every show. It was a one-man show. They used me for 15 shows. I had my script. My pages was like this thick, and there were little lines. New York City, little lines, and it was basically like a Bible. You're the man. You're the one-man show, and I was like, I'm not getting paid for this. I didn't ask to get paid. Like, I figured, I'm 19, like, I'm not gonna get paid. So, it's called paying your dues. There's a kid who was 16. His name was Christian. He was doing the lighting booth, and he knew right away. Like they were just getting another victim, basically, just to use you. Like it's all about them using you as much as they could get out of you. Like they want your soul. This young lady, she was my age I am now. She was like 30, and her name was Jessica Jennings, and she told me, "We really like you. I really like you," and she liked me too. And I had a connection with her, and basically she says, "Why don't you come to my father's theater?" I said, "Your father owns a theater?" She said, "Yeah, he owns like 4 theaters. And it's in the same building. It's right by Studio 54. Sure, I'll come down there. I'll do." And then she says, "You don't have to audition. You're in." And I was like, "Oh, I'm in." And then I didn't know ask any questions. I just went along with it. And they had me half naked on stage, and she bought me like these red satin. I'm looking down, and I'm wearing red now. This is how they get you. I'm wearing red underwear right now. She put me in red underwear, and she gave me like a shirt, a little wife beater shirt, and she said, "Just stand there," and I was just basically like a model. I was a model on stage, and it was a little sexual show, and I was just standing there, and it had no lines. I just stood there, half naked, and I don't know. I just did it. I did it. I guess she really liked me, and maybe she didn't have a boyfriend or something at the time, but I was young, and she introduced me to a lot of her friends, and I met this girl who had black hair, and she was, all these girls, they're all in like my age now. They're all in their 30s, late 30s, mid 30s. I was a teenager. I was 19. I said, what's going on here? And none of them knew my age. And I knew that. From being raised in Brooklyn, nobody. You don't tell people your age. It's a little thing that you do. That's the way I was raised. So, she introduced me to a friend. Her friend was like 36, and we're at the bar. And back then, they didn't ID you at the bars. I was getting into bars when I was like 17, and they didn't ID you. And stuff like that. So you just walked right in. To this day, I don't know. But a lot of these kids nowadays, they got these fake IDs. They just pay like $85 and they get a. There's one girl. She said, "Yeah, I know you. Yeah, my brother works on The Voice." I said, "Really? Your brother works on The Voice?" So I could connect with her, make a, and So I started making out with her. And maybe she could get me onto The Voice. She said, "My brother's gay." I'm tonguing her. I'm like 19, 20, 37. She's 37, and I'm tonguing her down. We're at the bar, somewhere in Midtown, because that's where the theater was at. And then I'm trying to go back to her place. I was like, listen, man, listen, sweetheart, like, go back to your place. Say, my parents are in town. I don't know. What are we going to do when we get back to my house? I said, well, we're going to watch a movie. I said, all right, you give me a number. So I got the number. And then word circulates in this town, because it's a small town, it's New York City. Everybody knows everybody if you're an actor. Eventually, you're going to learn that if you want to become an actor or a YouTuber or anything. It's a small town. If you get into the world of performance, you will find that out. And word circles back about my age. I don't know how, but word circles back to Jessica and this another lady named Matilda Saradiz who used to work on the Sopranos. I was doing a production for her too. These girls weren't paying me. Nobody was paying me. And I guess they got jealous or something, or somewhere or another. They said it circled back to this girl, and that was it. I was cold. I was blue balls, no pussy. And they said, yeah, no, he's only 20, or he's 21. He's too young. Blah blah blah. I said, fuck you. I don't know how or another, but he might have read a book. Matt might have read something, or he did some small little research, this little schmuck in the head, and he saw that I was working for Roger. And because I met this guy, speaking of Hollywood, this guy, Roger, he worked in Hollywood. He had a lot of friends in Hollywood, and I met him, and you can see in my videos, I used to work in the mountains. A lot of comedians started out in the mountains, in the Catskills, and I was booked to do a show in Montreal, in Canada. So I figured, okay, this guy is always trying to get me to work for him. I might as well work with this guy. And Poppy was telling me, you could learn the business from him. I don't know who this guy is. From Adam. I met him because I had an ex-girlfriend at the time that we all lived upstate, sort of, like we had land and we had a house up there, and I saw that this property has been purchased, and I saw all these type of structures there, these statues, just like you see in a movie, like Edward Scissorhands. I saw, like, what's going on here? Like, this is like art, and this is like, I gotta see. And my girlfriend's, is trying to start a fight with me. So she's yelling and screaming in my ear. I said, let me pull into here. So I pull in. She was telling, oh, I'm pregnant, and you don't care, and blah blah blah. And I don't know, she was not pregnant. So I just wanted to get out of there. So I walk in, and I want to meet the guy. I want to meet the guy who owns this establishment too, because I got a stake up there anyway. So I go up there, and then I see him. I say, he looks similar to the owner that used to live there, named Mr. Baker. He looks very similar. And I recognize his voice. His voice he's got an accent like me, like from New York. I said, where are you from? And he says, I'm from New Jersey. I said, you're a Jersey boy. And then one thing led to another. I said, your price is a little bit too expensive, blah blah blah, da da da. And he says, name your price. I never had somebody say that to me before. Name your price. So I said, $80. He says, done deal. I said, really? I said, yeah. He said, and then, I stayed in contact with him. And I wanted me to work for him. And on and off for 6 years, I worked for him and his sons. And it was just like a wild circus. It was like I could explain it as a circus. Like working in a circus. You would set up things and tents and stuff like that, and break the tents down, and go from this business to that business to this business to that business, like a lot of actors do. A lot of actors, they own bars. A lot of performers, entertainers, they own restaurants and whatnot. So, but after about the third year or the fourth year, you know, I'm very close with my parents, sort of close with my brother. I mean, he's kind of weird. He stands off. He's like a chink. So you know, and a little bit of a robot. My Matt tries keto wrestling. So I was calling him too, you know, to let them know what's going on. So I overheard. I shouldn't have said this to him, but I said, you know, he's talking about taxes. He's talking about put me on the books, and you know, I just want to work off the books. You know, it wasn't a lot of money. It was like $300 a week, you know, off the books, and then all of a sudden, he's saying, I guess he caught wind of that, and then he looked into it. So he went off with it haywire, and he started. Whatever let me know, he put me on the books, and I don't know what that means. I mean, he put me down as an employee of his, and you know, he said I was a partner of some kind, and it's just not. It's not. I don't know. It's not for me. You know, like if you want to do the YouTube, if you guys want to, you know, do this shit, that's up to you. I mean, you're not gonna be happy. I'm telling you right now, you're not gonna be happy. You know, you think you're gonna be happy, but it's, you know, it's just the I mean, I don't know. I sort of, at the time I was happy, but you know, when you get older, you know, when you turn 30s, you know, I don't know. Looking back at it, like it was just like a lot of work. It was just a lot of work for very little. Like you get very little in return. And it's the same here doing this on YouTube. You get nothing, and he's still making nothing. Matt's only making like $3. But I do know that he's a cheater, and this is what he's been doing. He's been cheating on black women all the time. Look at this. This is Matt right here. He's a cheater. He cheats on black women all the time. Look at that. Look at that. See, he's cheating on Sarah. I know that for a fact. Cheating on Sarah, and I got nothing against black women, but because I've dated black women, as you could tell. You know, this was a girl I was dating. You know, she does look like that character in that film, Super Mario Brothers, the Goomba. She does look like the Goomba. You know, join the other Goombas, but she's got nice legs. So, nothing wrong with black ladies. But I usually date something along these lines. This is what I date. You know, these type of girls right here, Dominicanas. You know, they're very nice, very nice. You know, this is what I usually do. And you know, Salvadorians, you know, Hondurians, stuff like that. This is what I date. You know, I don't divulge too much. You know, but. I got nothing wrong with that. I got nothing wrong with that. But you know, he's a cheater. That's what he's a cheater, and he cheated me. He cheated me, and he's gonna cheat you too. Rorito, he's got a deal going on with him, and who knows what the deal is. And that's the way these guys are. These producers, I used to have to chase them down the block to get paid. I literally did. I would have to chase them down. I know, I told them this, and I'm very public. I don't give a fuck. I don't need this. I never needed this. I really never did. And you don't need this either. I mean, it's up to you. But, you know, he screwed me. And I feel a little fucked up about it. And I would like to tell somebody, to tell my fans about it. You know, when you get scammed, you know, that's what happens. You know, he buys followers, and it's not fair. I've earned my followers, so all the work that I put into this YouTube thing, which I don't really give a shit about anymore, but I earned it, and he would buy followers. So if you guys want to subscribe to somebody like that, that's up to you. You know, I told him years ago, do not, you know, make fun of Gary and he made fun of Gary. He was giving him, he really did give him thousands of dollars. And I said, don't do it. I said, don't do it. This is one of your customers. This is a client. Don't do that. And he didn't listen to me. He kept harassing him and bothering him. And he lost that client. And now he gets no tips. He gets nothing. I mean, he gets very little. I see what it is because he had me connected to the account. It's not a lot of money. I mean, it's not a lot of money. I mean, I don't know why he does it for. I don't know why. I mean, maybe he needs a friend. That's what I think. He needs a friend because he's trapped with this in this relationship that's very, very abusive, and it's a shame that he has to go through this. But he don't know how to escape from it because he's mental. Growing up, I just learned this that Poppy, he wasn't allowed to come out of a room, so he was roped off. So mentally and physically, I guess he feels accustomed to that. So maybe Matthew, while he was raised, he was roped off too. I don't know, because I came along 5 years later. So yeah, like maybe he, like, mentally he some people like to be abused, and they actually get entrapped in that. And I was getting abused too in a relationship, but I didn't realize it. You never realize it because you think it's love, you think it's work and blah blah blah, but it's really not. It's really not cool to be beaten and yelled at and cursed at and disrespected multiple times, which he does. He has to live with this person who disrespects him all the time and disrespects his family. The person doesn't even come over here and show respect to his parents. Curses out his father, curses out his mother, curses out his brother, and all we did was just try to be nice to this person, and he stays with that. So I guess some people want to be abused, they want to stay abused, and they want to be like kept roped in. And he's always going to stay like that. He's always going to be like that. He's never going to grow, because real freedom is doing what would you like to do? The pursuit of happiness that we all have here in this country known as America, that I serve proudly in the United States Navy. That you have to be happy, like you deserve to be happy. And he's not happy, and it's a shame, because he wants to stay like that. I mean, some people want to stay like that. That's okay, but to involve other people into his abusive relationship is unfair, very unfair, and he's done that multiple times as well. Giving my phone number, my personal number, out to his, I don't know what type of relationship that they have, and then she would be calling me and trying to get me involved with this, and I don't know. I mean, if your man is cheating on you, that's on you. You have to deal with that, not me. So she would call us crying and like, and you never speak to us as it is, and you don't show us respect, and you curse us out, and whenever we do ask you for a favor, you're never there. So it's not fair to anyone. A lot of people go through this, and he'll never grow, he'll never learn, because he's not that intelligent, and that's a shame on him. I don't know. I don't want to be involved with that, so I'm out. I don't want to be involved with him. Like, I mean, maybe on certain occasions I'll say hello, but the guy screws you, he's gonna screw you again. So I'm Johnny Boots. Peace.